back to another Random Sam Epic Mom. Alright, it's time for a car rant. Alright, so it is that time of year when we are halfway through the school year. Yay! I got told, it's like, we don't have school on Friday. We don't have school the following Monday. And I'm like, what the hell? Why aren't you in school? Oh, in teacher service. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, why are you never in school? What is this bullshit? And it got me thinking. I remember my grandpa telling me when I was little about how he had only gotten to 8th grade. And I had multiple grandparents because, I had a stepfather, so I had his parents, and he had a stepmom and all that. So I had a whole bunch of grandparents. And I remember one of my grandpas saying, he made it to 8th grade and that was it. And that was very common, especially for country folks, to only make it to 8th grade. And we'd occasionally talk, especially as I got older, and I was like, holy crap, they know more stuff than what I do when I graduated high school. And I graduated, with really good grades. And you know what? My kids, when my son graduated, it was like, how the hell did you have trouble graduating? What the frick are they teaching you? And my daughter and me were just joking around today. It's like, when's the apocalypse going to happen? Freaking apocalypse. I'm ready for it. The movies have made it, us get ready for every type of apocalypse. And I was teasing her, it's like, no offense, but with all of the crap that's been going on, all the crazy, climate change psychos, all the liberals, instead of teaching all the, liberal agenda propaganda crap, they should be teaching, gardening and stuff in school. How to survive 101. At least that's my opinion. What do I know? But it got me thinking, though. I think I figured out why it seems that each generation's getting dumber. And you'd think it'd be the opposite because we have so much more technology now. We have so much more information available to us. And it's actually the opposite reason. Because we have so much stuff available to us, nobody's having to learn it. When I was a kid, we had numbers memorized. We had our friend's number memorized. We had our home phone number memorized. We had like at least 10 main numbers memorized. That crap might have been written down somewhere, but for the most part, you knew that number off the top of your head. Now, I got my number memorized, I got my husband's number memorized, and I don't even have my kids' numbers memorized because it's like, it's one of those. And I just don't bother because the phone remembers it. I can add it to the memory, or add it to the, quick call list. That is really sad. I remember my mom saying, it's like, oh, you're going to need this math when you're every day. And it's like, holy crap, we don't use that. And our kids don't use it. And then I was teasing my kids the other day. It's like, I remember my sister and me, we used to practice writing our names because we wanted to, have this really cool, signature. And we'd all practice it. And that was one of the things is that when we were growing up, you could tell who sent what note because you could tell by whose handwriting. It was almost like a code of, you knew, just looking at the handwriting, who wrote it. You could look at somebody's yearbook and be like, oh my God, I can match up this. I don't even have to look at the signature because I can look at the handwriting because I know who wrote that. And my kids can't do that. Their friends, they send texts. They don't do the handwriting, and all their handwriting sucks.
Some people with good handwriting.
It ain't you kids.
No, absolutely not. It's mainly some of the girls I know.
But it got me thinking, it's like, oh my freaking God. And you just gotta think about it. Because again, like I said, my grandpa, with an 8th grade education, knew more than I did at graduating. I think I, graduating high school, knew a lot more than kids in college are knowing. Because the standards keep getting lower and lower and lower. And the more I think about it is, the more technology we have, the more we feel we don't need to know the basics. Well, why do we need to know this when we can just look it up real quick? Or we've got machines that do it for us. We don't need to know that information. But machines break. Systems crash. Computers get viruses. Shit happens. We have an entire entertainment industry set up that talks about the end of days, that talks about society collapsing. And it's all this craziness. I mean, no offense, but if the climate change activists are right and we're going to have this huge, nuclear winter or whatever, or, a winter that lasts for like 2 years straight. I want people to know how to do greenhouse gardens, how to survive. It used to be that houses were built with certain things, like you had a house built with a fireplace in your house. You had to have a fireplace to survive. That was your heat. You had to have things like a pantry because you had to store food throughout the year to survive the winter. Now people don't go to the store once a week. They go to the store every other day to get food. Pantries are not common in all houses. You don't stock up on stuff like that, even after COVID happened and we had the lockdown. We don't teach the basics anymore because we have computers for it. So we don't teach handwriting as much as we used to. We don't teach basic math the way we used to because we've got calculators and nobody feels they need to have those multiplication tables memorized as much. I remember that by 3rd grade, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it was 4th grade, you had to have all the way up to 12s. Multiplication tables up to 12 memorized. There's always be those ones that you'd had trouble with, but for the most part, you had to have all the way up to 12 memorized. If not, up to 15. My school only did 12. I was wimpy, but now it's only like 8 is what they're trying to do. And it's like, really? 8? 8's the, goal. They want it higher, but as long as you can get to 8, that's okay. And it's like, should we at least make it to 10? Come on. And again, it's, it just seems like it's lower and lower. It's like, well, you don't have to emphasize the spelling as much as you used to because you got spell check. And it's just, oh my God. And we've had so many people who fell through the cracks in my generation that now this generation is falling through the cracks even more because the parents aren't able to teach the kids. And the teachers aren't teaching the kids because they're too busy pushing their propaganda and their agendas. And it's like, shut the hell up and just teach the damn class. So again, it's really making me wonder if, the easier we're making shit, the harder we're actually making our lives down the line. Because I'd rather kids had to play dodgeball and feel hurt that they didn't get picked first for the team and learn to actually dodge a damn ball than worry about not hurting their feelings and learning to express themselves. Which is ironic when you think about it, because I'm the one that's always talked about you guys, being okay, managing your emotions. And yet I'm the one always telling you to suck it the hell up. Man, I'm a horrible person. I'm just back and forth. But come on, guys. Let's remember a few very key things. We got to the moon having to use math that was checked by people. Okay? We accomplished some amazing things before we had computers to do all of our checking for us. AI programs. You know what? Sure. I did like a couple people saying that there's no way that AI would ever truly rise up against us because we're AI's customers. Okay? We're pretty much their pets. That's the only reason they're not going to get rid of us. I do find it funny that the people who do the whole climate control thing don't look at it as, okay, the more you drive and fly to all these places to argue about climate control and how the oil or the gas or whatever is causing the problem, well, you traveling there has just increased the problem. Instead, let's find places that have been overdeveloped, and all those houses the areas that have been, kind of crapped on and, deteriorated, why don't instead we, tear down old buildings and such and turn them into parks? How about instead of having 4 or 5 factories in one city area, 1 factory per city, so that you're not having so much pollution in one area? Just a thought. Limit development areas so that you're not overpopulating areas just a thought. Let's teach agricultural stuff so people appreciate where the food's coming from. It's random ideas. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there. All these people out there who want to push the whole socialist agenda. When you can prove to me that you can make it work on a community level, such as a small town, even a small neighborhood, then a small town, then a larger town, then a small county, until you can move up to like a state-size level, please stop pushing for the country. Please. Please, please, please. No, guys, it just seems like, there's a lot of practical stuff that we're not teaching kids anymore that I think if we did, they'd be a lot more likely to not be little shits. But again, I could be wrong because look at us now. My generation was told to, half of us were told to suck it up, half of us were given excuses, and look at where we're at now. My mom did not let us have excuses. My mom was very big on the whole suck it up cupcake, shake it off, walk it off, get out there and actually get it done. My mom's tough. But who knows? I'm whining. I'm ranting. This is the car rant. But I honestly do think, guys, we can do better. We can do a lot better. We can, try a lot harder. I think if the apocalypse happened tomorrow, any type of major disaster happened, I think we would all end up, nice way to put it, guys, is we'd end up taking the whiners and the doers, and they'd be separated. And all the people who are whining and saying, oh, you need to do this and then we need to do that, and all the liberals who are demanding justice, they'd have to wake up and realize, oh shit, I need to worry about myself now. And you get a new attitude. You get a lot of attitude. So, I don't know. Just food for thought, guys, please. If there's a subject that you think would really help our kids in school more than some of these other stupid things like critical race theory or political ideology or any of the other crap woke agenda stuff being put out there, please let me know in the comments. My one that I'm going to be putting out there is I think kids should be taught some basics such as how to grow food, how to identify food in the wild. Basic survival skills. Honestly, I think we should be teaching kids that stuff. Self-defense. That one, I think we should be teaching all kids. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed that. Please check out our other videos already on YouTube. And give us a like and subscribe. And if you hit that bell for notifications, you'll know when we put something new out. So try to make every day matter by finding the fun. You guys have a great one. Bye.